Are you ready for the quantum age?
Humanity's next step in evolution?
Dream Vision 7 Radio Network invites you to the extraordinary platform of evolutionary voices for the quantum age.
Let's explore. Learn more about this upcoming age where we bridge science with spirituality.
Where potentiality meets reality.
Where we take compassion into action.
Our trailblazers and visionaries will ask the whys, the what-ifs, while igniting continuous possibility.
Come along with us into an age beyond what we know today, where we can grow together in unity consciousness.
Experience evolutionary voices for the quantum age, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern on DreamVision7Radio.com.
There is a language of universal communication that flows across borders, beyond belief systems, and between the species. It is a language without words. It is the wellspring of life itself, and it is a language that could save our planet, if you let it. Guided by the sacred and iconic ultra-rare white lions of Timbavati in the deep heart of southern Africa, Linda Tucker has translated the language of the lions into a series of lion-hearted leadership lessons for humanity. You are invited to join Linda in one united roar for lions and all of nature.
Well, rules of greetings from the heart of White Lion territories. I'm back after a big adventure in South Africa's Cape Town, which is the center of our parliamentary buildings, and I come back with some very exciting news. I was listening to our trademark introductory music by David Chabot, and it cites that repeating refrain, "Lionheart, change the law." Well, for the first time, it really seems as if we might be on track to changing the law around trophy hunting of lions in South Africa. Those of you who have been watching our Facebook posts and our newsletters will have been encouraged by the news of two parliamentary addresses, one last year and the other this month, with a triumphal outcome in which our appeal for the lions of our region to be protected from trophy hunting. Those of you who know my project know that I operate from the middle of the Kruger Canyon biosphere. It's a UNESCO-declared biodiversity hotspot, and yet, on the borders of our protected area, trophy hunting of lions takes place illegally. You'll also know that over 6 decades, white lions have been forcibly removed from these lands, and they've been taken into zoos and circuses around the globe, and worse, into breeding farms in South Africa where they are bred for the bullet. This is a breeding to kill factory farming industry that has exploded out of all proportions. Today, there are more lions in cages than there are in the wild. It is an absolute atrocity. You also know that I've been campaigning against this for most of my life, since the 90s. And although I've raised huge awareness around this issue, and although our project has protected white lions through creating a protected area in the middle of the ecosystem, we have not succeeded in protecting them by national law or international law. You will know from following our radio program that this industry, this killing industry that breeds baby cubs to be hugged by tourists for a price, then to be walked by tourists for a price, and then to be shot by hunters for a price, has been legalized by international law. CITES, the Convention for the International Trade of Endangered Species. So in previous radio shows, there was quite a lot of sadness. I mean, really profound despair when the Convention for the International Trade of Endangered Species legalized this industry. But now, for the first time, there really is light on the horizon after my most recent trip to Parliament and the presentation there of myself and a delegation that I put together, which was actually supported by a coalition of over 35 very powerful conservation organizations internationally who collaborated with one voice. So you also know with the theme music of my radio show, One United Roar, it really felt like that. For the first time, conservation groups putting aside their differences and uniting with one message that we have to save lions as a living heritage for future generations. So I'm going to tell you a little more about that, and I'm also going to share with you how I think that was achieved and how the lions spoke through the delegation. And later in our show, I'm going to be introducing you to Joan Ranquet, who is a world-renowned animal communicator with publications of various books, but particularly the one we'll talk about is her book, Communication with All Life. You know that our project is founded on interspecies communication, and you know that Winter Worsthorne has been interviewed on my radio show before, and she's a founding faculty member of our Leadership Academy for Lion-Hearted Leadership. We'll get to that in a little while, but before we do so, I'd like to introduce you to two very special ladies who are sitting with me here in the middle of the heartland. They've arrived from their respective parts of the globe to assist in this cause. Both their names are very poetic, just like Marilyn Monroe runs off the tongue. We have Koch and we have Marissa Morley. Here, and you heard a couple of giggles. These are lovely ladies who have hearts of pure gold and nerves of steel to bring them here into the heartland. So, Kat, can we hear your paw or your purr for a moment?
Hi, everybody. I'm Kat.
And you come from Ireland.
Yeah, living there the past 4 years.
And if we are very lucky and we twist Kat's paw, she might just sing for us later in the show. But everyone's got to be very, very nice to Kat for her to do that. And we have Marissa, who's come all the way from the other side of the globe, from LA.
Yes,
Marissa.
Hi. Yes, from California.
So Marissa is going to be my assistant here in the heartland, leading up to the Leadership Academy, which she'll be a participant in at year end. You know our academy takes place at the end of each year. That time, that amazing time in White Lion territories, from the 21st of November to the 21st of December. And you get home in time for Christmas, but it's the most astonishing Christmas of your life normally, because your value system has changed and you've come into a lion mint with true value. That's the training of lion-hearted leadership, as you know, coming into alignment with your destiny, truly feeling purposeful. And so Kat is going to be with us all the way through this year and and right into the academy. So those of you who are coming out to the academy this year will get to meet Marissa, and Kat, in fact, will be putting the 13 laws of lion-hearted leadership onto an online training. So both these ladies are going to be playing a really significant role, and it's not the last time you'll hear from them. So we are going to summarize quickly what happened in Parliament. The position that I took is the Indigenous position, and you know that's been my work over many decades with Indigenous leaders worldwide. But what is the Indigenous position, and why is that so different from the colonial or now post-colonial policies around nature and conservation? This exploitative paradigm that has consumed and used and exploited our wildlife such that we are on the brink of catastrophe if we don't shift the paradigm. So what exactly is the Indigenous worldview, and how did I manage to present that in Parliament? Well, I would say if I was using one law of lion-hearted leadership above all during Parliament, it would have to be the third law of communication in the way that lions communicate, which is heart-to-heart communication. And so you'll know if you're working with our 13 laws that communication in the way of the white lion is to share the roar. You'll know that the kids who participated in our One United Roar Talent Challenge spoke for the lions. They sang, they danced, they celebrated the lions. So how does one get that message into the dark corridors of power normally associated with parliamentary legislation? Well, we actually brought a prayer into Parliament, and we dressed. I was accompanied by the princess of this region, who actually is the patron of the Leadership Academy, who dressed in traditional dress. I was accompanied with the medicine women who I work with from this region, who dressed in traditional lion dress. They didn't pander to Western ways. They held their truth within that context. And I was also accompanied by my partner, specialist lion ecologist, Jason Turner, who spoke from the heart of science, when science really serves nature. I believe that Indigenous, in its true meaning, relates to our origin, which in origin was to serve Mother Earth, this incredible living heritage of nature that speaks to our heart. So we were also accompanied by the First Nation of First Nations, the Khoisan Bushman people of South Africa, who spoke for the lions. And I'd like to read to you a plea from one of South Africa's greatest medicine people, who I've trained with many years ago, and whose plea for the white lions was more important in Parliament than ever before. Let me read you. This is a deep honor to read his prayer now. I'm going to read you an extract of what I read in Parliament. This is a plea to those who choose to do nothing in the face of monstrous evil. Leave the lions of Timbavati alone. Do not destroy the sacred lions of the gods of Africa. People come to my motherland, people come to South Africa to brutally murder the white lions of Timbavati in the name of manliness and in the name of sport. And I ask myself, did we win our freedom for this quiet devastation of our country's most sacred animals? Did we, by joining the ranks of the democratic countries of the world, also join those people who see it as their task to denude this planet of all life? Please, leave South Africa's white lions alone. Let them breathe once more. Let them walk tall in the wilderness that is their mother. In the last 200 years or so, the human race has lost much of what is important